Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's lovely to have you here. In this video we'll be installing a modern gutter system onto a traditional farmhouse roof, so sit back and enjoy. First things first, we had to devise a way to attach the gutters to the wall. This roof doesn't have the rafters feet exposed, so we had to fix them onto the wall itself. And after looking at some off-the-shelf brackets, we decided we could fabricate our own for much cheaper. All we needed was a couple of fittings and some 10mm bar. In the workshop, I cut the bar down to 300mm lengths and then threaded one end. Once the nut spun on smoothly, I headed over to the grinder to put a point on the other end. This will help us drive the pin into the wall. The gutter bracket itself was slightly too long, so I chopped the top off and drilled a small hole for the bolt to go through. Here I am dry fitting the full bracket, and the beauty of the system is that we have adjustability up and down, even once the pin was fixed into the wall with chemical cement. I gave the pins a quick coat of paint to protect them from the rust, and then we got on the scaffolding to drill some holes. The spacing between each gutter bracket was about 800mm in the end, which is towards the top end, but it should handle the light zinc gutter quite easily. We pumped some chemical cement into each hole, then drove the pins until they touched a string line we'd set up. To make the joints between each gutter piece, we cut out a small slither of the edge, which then allowed us to slide the gutter underneath the other piece. This length of gutter joins onto the outside corner on the right side of the building. Then about 300mm from the corner we placed a wraparound outlet which feeds the downpipe. First we drilled a pilot hole and then got out the large diameter drill bit. We got slightly ahead of ourselves and snapped the drill bit in two. Slow and steady worked much better.
So you just have to... I'll only do one.
We used basic weatherproof sealant on all the joints, which should stay flexible during any movement the gutter may have. Then we simply slid one gutter piece under the other and used a connector to tighten up the joint. Just ignore that downpipe for the moment, as we'll come back to it. More drilling was done and more holes were made. As you can see, some birds had been squatting illegally in the roof and needed to be taken care of. Thankfully, the chicks had already fledged, so no birds were actually harmed, and to stop this happening in the future, we used some broken tiles to block up any holes. Here's a totally pointless shot of me carrying something up the ladder. And then we set up the theodolite to ensure that there was a fall of about 20 mil away from the centre towards the downpipes on each side. Once we had the middle and the end height of the gutter, we ran a string line and fixed the gutter brackets accordingly, using the adjustability that I spoke of earlier. After cutting a few joints, we decided to level up the saw and made much quicker progress. Where the joints were a little bit saggy, we used a rivet to just tighten it up. Now for the other wraparound outlet, lessons were not learned. For each side we riveted together 2 offsets and a short piece of pipe to turn the outlet towards the wall. Fixing the downpipe to the wall was stupidly easy. All that was required was a hole and a plug, which you then screwed each bracket into. We used the string again to drop a plumb line down the wall and rinse and repeated. We then did the same procedure on the left side.
I think it's the 13 mil.
And here is the final product. You can also see just how bowed the house is. It was built in 1732, so it's shifted around a bit since then. As we weren't forecast rain for a few weeks, I threw the garden hose up to see how it would deal with some water. And there we are. Thank you for sticking around. Please do subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video, and I've also set up a Patreon for anyone who is crazy enough to support me with your hard-earned cash. See you next time when we connect this up to a 100-year-old underground concrete water tank.